after the walkout, we fanned out to, each tackle a couple of different areas.
As we sort of dug into these issues, a bunch of us sort of said, you know what, forced arbitration is the thing that's blocking many of these demands. And so let's tackle that first.
Forced arbitration had been inserted into employment contracts in law firms specifically as a result of the Me Too movement. So it was clear that this was a way to silence victims of sexual harassment and discrimination. And as a group of mostly women who intend to make careers within the law, we felt that this was absolutely unacceptable. And the more we looked into it, the more prevalent we realized it was, both in the legal profession and the fact that it's all lawyers who are compelling forced arbitration on behalf of their clients. So after realizing just the scale of the use of forced arbitration and how egregious it really is, we felt that we had no choice but to come together to try to fight it.
We've definitely been in contact with students at law schools, including at Stanford and Yale. And I think, there's a couple advantages here. One is this is an issue that law students across the country should care about because it impacts their future employers, their future clients, their ability to sort of serve workers in marginalized communities. And then also, the more law students we have signing on to sort of that they care about forced arbitration, we think the more firms will take notice and start to care and start to change their policies when they see it's not just Harvard law students, it's law students at schools, at dozens of schools across the country.
So what we found, though, is that you can pass all of the laws you want. You can make whatever you want illegal. You can make it illegal to discriminate against people based on race, against people based on sex or age or sexual orientation. But as long as companies can use forced arbitration to circumvent the legal process and can stifle the complaints that come up, then it's almost as if those laws don't exist for some companies.
Yeah, a company like Google can say, we'll have better transparency into how harassment claims are handled. But we can't really know that's true if those harassment claims are forced into arbitration and they're secret and we can't gather information together.
The only way this gets fixed is if we change the law.
We demand an end to forced arbitration!
On May 1st, International Workers' Day, we are asking everyone to make 3 phone calls.
We've organized phone banks with everything you need to tell Congress. Pass the Forced Arbitration and Justice Repeal Act, or the FAIR Act. This bill ends a practice that denies over 60 million workers access to the court system.
So call your senator.
Then call your other senator.
And definitely call your House representative.
Just 3 calls can change the game.
3 calls for workers' rights.
3 calls for the 7th Amendment.
3 calls for civil rights.
3 calls for fair markets.
3 calls for Me Too.
Make 3 calls on May 1st and make history.